Hello and welcome to Lens Lounge. Today I am joined by the wonderful Leah Starkey. She is one of my good friends and also just an incredibly talented photographer. I'm so excited to have her on. Thank you for joining me and for being willing to talk. Yes.
Of course.
I'm so excited for what she has to say. She's so smart. She's so talented. She's like wise beyond her years.
Wow.
She really is. Seriously. Every time I talk to her, I learn something new. Yeah, you're like 25, 26.
26.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew how old you were. It was a ballpark guess. I was like, I know you're like 1 or 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
That's just what I remember.
Isn't it funny how you get to a certain age and like
it doesn't really matter.
It's like after 23, I think it's like, okay, you can be friends with someone who's 27 and no big deal.
I feel like as long as the maturity levels are kind of the same or like the thought processes and stuff, it doesn't really
I agree.
matter too much. That's why I like being your friend, because you're just you match me. You match me in my my maturity. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
We are so alike in some ways. Like I still remember when we first met. Well, yeah. No, not when we first met. That time was great too.
Oh yeah,
but I'm just saying that
I was so
first
nervous.
Really long drive that we had to take when you were second shooting, and that was the first time you were second shooting for me. And honestly, it was like an hour and a half, maybe longer, 2-hour drive, and you could be intimidated with somebody that's not the right person to be in the car with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where it's awkward, you could just sense it. And I'm like, Valerie and I are talking about everything under the sun. And it's so comfortable.
And I'm so glad you felt that way, because I was so nervous.
You were?
Because I'm not an extroverted person.
I was just like babbling.
No. Well, we agree on so many different topics and like have the same like
it was
thinking and stuff. So it was like once we started talking, I was like, oh.
You're like, okay.
I was like, oh, I'm good here.
I mean, when you're stuck in a car for 4 hours driving with somebody.
Yeah.
It's a long time for like, okay, this is like, boop, the first time you really get to interact with them and you're stuck.
Well, that's why I was nervous. I was like, what if I say the wrong thing? And she just
I'm so glad it was you and not like somebody else. Because I was like struggling to find a second shooter for that day a little bit. And then Megan
telling me about
is how I got your contact, and it just was a beautiful thing.
And a friendship was born.
A friendship was
born. Thank God.
In Bloomington, Illinois.
I was so lonely.
You were lonely. Oh, God.
That's why I was so nervous. I didn't really have many friends when we started talking, and I was like, man, I really can't mess this up.
But that's what happens when you put yourself out there and you actually speak your truth and like what's on your heart and what's on your mind. You actually attract the people that think the same way.
Exactly. But why don't you introduce yourself? Like, when did you start? What kind of photography do you do?
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
So, how I started photography was back in 2017 is when I really started getting into it. So 1 year out of high school. Wait, is that right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. But
that sounds right.
2017 was about the year that I started just like wanting to photograph more. I started with nature, but I kind of sucked at it and played around with editing. And it's just, I wanted to photograph people is what it came down to. Mm-hmm. And I was in school at the time, hating what I was doing. I was originally going for occupational therapy assistant.
Whoa, that's crazy.
You?
No. You.
It was nuts. Because I was horrible. Like I was doing horrible in school, and I just went to a junior college because I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then before the second year came around, I basically told my parents, I said, hey, I am not doing this anymore. Right. It was like 2 weeks before school, and I said, I'm not doing this. I just can't. Like I like almost failed the biology class. Like I don't want to do this. Like this is just not for me. I'm going to do interior design. Right. So then I did that in school. And
you're so good at that.
I love interior design.
That was the best choice.
It was
I love your mind.
It was a nice, thank you. It was such a beautiful like compliment to now where I am like today, because it did teach me a lot more about like the arts, and it was somewhat art involved. Mm-hmm. And so once I graduated in that, I kept up with my photography business, just doing like friends, kind of just more like free sessions and couple sessions, and family sessions is really where I started too. So I was still doing all of that. And then I got a job in Naperville, Illinois, working at a firm, and did that for 2 years before I quit to do photography full time, really, or make that leap, I guess.
Was that scary?
Oh yeah.
Like, was that a leap of faith?
So scary.
For you?
I was like,
You were married by then, right?
No, it was right
No?
before we got
Oh,
married.
okay.
So I had been working 2 years, and it was during COVID. So 2020.
You went full time in COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So 2020 is when I like really made that jump. That's when I left my job in design, and I had like a few weddings under my belt, but only like maybe 4 or 5 at the time.
Yeah.
And I just started making more connections with like different communities in Chicago that were photographers, and I was second shooting and lead shooting for them, or starting
Okay.
that phase before my business started picking up.
I was surprised that you could do that all in 2020, just given that like everything was.
I think there was just a lot of. I had only 2 of my own weddings in 2020. I think was it 2020. I believe so, because that's the year that Roman graduated. So I'm trying to either 2020 or 2021. Now I'm like blanking on what it was. Might have been 2021.
No, but still.
Might have been 2021. But there was a lot of reschedules of weddings at the time. So I feel like just my weddings were increasing. Like one year I had 4, then the next year I had 8, then the next year I had 16, then it was like almost 30. So it was kind of just like it kept duplicating itself or doubling.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, if this trend keeps going and my family sessions keep increasing too, like I'm going to be in a fine place. But I had a part-time job until, let's see, has that been 2 years?
Yeah.
I've been just completely full-time. Started with more families and couples, and then transitioned to more weddings. And now I'm doing, I would say, both weddings and primarily families and motherhood right now.
But you're transitioning, right?
Kind
a little
of.
bit, your focus.
I think like my focus is going to be more family photography and more like motherhood, because that's where I am in my life, and that's what gets me excited and passionate and inspired. But I will still take on wedding clients. I just love being there on the wedding day, and so I might do more associate work and more second shooting work, and only take on maybe like 10 of my own per year, or like 5 to 10, like within that range. Like I've started booking for 2026, but I really haven't pushed like promoting it very much, because like if I already have 3 booked, to me it's like there's so much time between now and December of 2025 that like I can book like as many as I want, but still keep it very
under
like,
control.
Yeah, I don't want to like over push that for like a booking, you know?
Yeah.
So
because you just had your baby,
I
little
did,
Freya,
but almost a year ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's
gonna be a year next month.
Oh my goodness,
So,
how has that been? Like,
I mean, it's been wonderful. It's been like the most transformative and beautiful experience becoming a mom. I just have like learned so much more about myself. I've learned about like my new passions in life, and also just like how complex motherhood and parenthood really is.
Yeah.
And so I've just developed such a deeper passion for parents, and that's why I think like with my family clients and women that are pregnant that want to have their photos taken, I'm just so much more like in awe of that chapter of people's lives that that's what I want to photograph. And so it's been transformative though, like from a business level and a personal level. Like you just don't know until you go through it, like what the heck happens.
That's so valid. And that's
crazy.
I believe it.
And it's the best and the hardest thing I've ever done, which everybody says, but it's so true.
When you found out that you were pregnant, you were in the middle of your wedding season, right? And then that was in 2024. Like August,
so
right?
2023 is when I found out.
That's right. 2023.
So yeah, it was August. It was like August,
and that's like the bit like August, September, October.
And I was sick.
First trimester.
Sicker than a dog.
Yeah. How did you navigate?
Oh, it was so bad. The hardest part was like the mentally like, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to like plan for my maternity leave with like, but I haven't like given the news to like these brides yet that like I'm really sick for their wedding. I don't want them to have to worry about that. So I didn't want to tell them, hey, I'm 10 weeks pregnant and I'm puking in the bathroom every like 2 hours right now. But
bless you.
Yeah. I will tell you a story because it was insane. But so I had found out I was pregnant that day, had to go to a rehearsal dinner and like photograph it. This was the biggest wedding I had of the year. It was the next day would have been I think it was a 14-hour wedding.
You were telling me about that wedding day.
And I love this wedding day. I mean, this goes down in history as like one of my favorite, most memorable days.
It's a long
because
day.
it was a long day, but the couple was so wonderful. Like, I feel like it was my breakthrough into the Chicago wedding industry, because they were like such a pure, fun, family-oriented Italian family.
Oh, yeah.
And since that wedding, I have gotten like 7 referrals just from them.
Really?
In that same area of Chicago. They have the
wow.
same type of mindset. They have the same type of chemistry with me and appreciation for the arts. So like, I love that couple. Like, and I love that day. I'm glad, like, and I wasn't sick. I just was shocked.
Yeah. How?
I mean, I found out I was pregnant, then had to go. And then the next day, and so Roman and I were like, oh my gosh, this is
But you
insane.
kind of had to put it on pause. Like, you couldn't necessarily like celebrate or like even digest it, because you just had to go and like,
it was crazy. And
be a vendor.
You did, yeah.
Well,
but while this was on my mind, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like pregnant right now. This is
like imagining like, oh, there's like another human being inside me right now. And I'm just walking
like,
around.
Even just
like,
driving feels differently. Like, and right immediately you're like, okay, like I have to like protect myself like even more, because I have this little baby inside me.
And how did you, like, from a business owner standpoint, looking at your 2024 weddings, right? Because you knew you would be doing April. And I feel like April to August, well, honestly, I don't think 3 months is like a good, like
it's not
a decent amount of time for maternity leave.
It'll take much longer.
But how did you navigate taking your maternity leave? And like, how did you feel about doing that, since this is your full-time job? And I know you have Roman who also like contributes to the income and stuff, but.
Well, the crazy thing is, like, right when I got pregnant is like one of the first things that zipped through my mind is what weddings is this going to affect right now? Because I think I have a heavier spring than what I used to have. Like, for whatever reason, the spring was just like, I had 5 weddings that were kind of affected during my maternity leave. So I look at my schedule, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to reach out to all 5 of these brides. Like, what is the reaction gonna be? Like, I, called different moms within the industry that were photographers for weddings, and I'm like, help me. Like, what do I do? You start to just freak out.
Right.
And
were there any negative reactions?
There was 1 or 2 that were very like hesitant reactions and wanted like all of the facts of like, okay, send me the gallery of the associate shooter. Like, will this like be edited the same? Like, they were kind of freaking out.
Understandably.
Yes.
So.
And I was trying to be very like respectful of that, because I know it's like they booked me, and this was, unintentional that this happened. But I like am so grateful that it happened. It's just like finding the balance of like communicating that to someone who can't really relate to your situation right now, and they're in a place in their life where their focus is this wedding. Yeah. Like, that's their only thing
and
right
that's totally okay.
And that's the phase of life they're in. So I had to be respectful of that too, and not just be like, well, my problem is bigger than your problem. So I had to be careful with my words, and it made me realize that like there's not really a place to like, I mean, you can ask people's advice, but if you don't have a community to ask like advice on how to approach this topic, then like
a motherhood, like business owner, motherhood type
like I went
community.
to people that I knew of, but like I needed that advice from them to like figure out what I was gonna do, because I can't go to my parents. They're not in this situation with like maternity leave or whatever. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, that makes sense. And I feel like asking people who are outside of the industry, they're like, well, like, just don't work them then, you know? Or
well, the thing is, like, if the bride reacted like really badly, which I didn't have any of that, it was kind of like, then they're not your ideal clients, truly. But if all of them reacted, I would say in a good way for the most part. And how I navigated it was just being extra careful with who I selected to do their weddings, associate and second shooters, if they were both involved. Reassuring them that this happens all the time. Like, I second shoot, I associate shoot for like bigger companies too than my own. And like the editing is really the process of which like it can just transform. You can like just transform someone's work. Like, we could have the exact same photograph and you will edit it totally different than I will. So I'm like, the picture itself, these are all very documentary girls, and like if you like the editorial stuff that I like to put a twist on during my wedding days, like I can have them emphasize that at certain points of the day, and we can like walk through that. And I mean, all the associates and seconds did amazing. So it was a wonderful process. The hard part was keeping up with editing with the newborn.
Yes.
That was the hardest part.
How was that? Because you had her in April.
Yeah.
And then you had maternity leave, but you had all of these wedding galleries that you had to deliver.
Yeah. I had like...
So was it a true maternity
No.
leave?
No. And that's why I would do it differently, but I mean, I couldn't, because it's like, this is just what happened.
Your first time.
And
you didn't
like,
plan.
you have to, you have to just, you know, just roll with it, and maybe tell them, hey, like, life's been a little crazy, and like, I'm still recovering. I'm still getting the hang of things. But I mean, my lead time for wedding galleries is like 10 to 12 weeks. And so it did give me ample amount of time to like work on them.
Yeah.
But it's definitely hard. You're sleep deprived.
You're splitting your attention too. I mean, like, I feel like
that time goes by so quickly. 12 weeks is like a blink.
So then, was that adding more stress than? Obviously it was, right?
I think it was. Yeah.
How did Roman take that?
He's been so great from the beginning. He's been so supportive. He's been so helpful, like doing things around the house while I was like breastfeeding, caring for the baby. Because in the beginning, the baby just wants mom.
Yeah.
Baby wants mom. She wants milk.
Understandable.
She's used to being in your body for 9 months. Like, she wants you. And so really the husband has to take the role of like doing things around the house and caring for you in a way while you're caring for the baby. Like, I think there was moments where he was frustrated that he couldn't help more with the baby, and he only had 2 weeks paternity leave. And we didn't have any help other than just
parents.
Occasionally. But in the beginning, a lot of times people just come over, and it's just like, you might think like they're coming to help, and all they want to do is just be like, like, to the baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like they're there. Like, I actually have a post that I'm going to share on Substack that talks about this, how in the beginning it's like, and even now, what's the hardest transition is that, like, in some ways, you still need to be cared for as the mom.
Right.
And you're used to being kind of more of that child role in people's lives, where they're like, how are you? What can we do for you? And that kind of sometimes goes away. And it's a hard thing to kind of cope with a little bit when you're like, everyone just cares about this beautiful baby, but
not to
I'm
say
over
that
here sleep deprived, and like it's a little bit hard. It's a hard transition.
So what do you recommend people do in those instances? Like, how, you know, if I'm showing up, let's say one of my best friends has a baby, like, how can I show up for her in that way? Because I feel like that's also hard to communicate. Like, you're not just gonna go up to hey, can you stop paying attention to the human that I created and like deal with me?
I think like you have to treat them as a friend first. Like, I think that's so important, is like, your friends, if you really care about that person, and you're like, they're still the same I mean, they're different, but they're still the same person. Like, care about that person, and like maybe do some things for her. Like, hey, bring her dinner is a great example of like, bring dinner over when you come stop by, which many people did, which was so helpful in the beginning and awesome, because cooking is like, and I love to cook, but it's like crazy.
If I have trouble wanting to cook, and all I have is a dog and a husband, I can't imagine it with a kid or multiple children.
It gets
on top
crazy.
of working.
I would say bring a meal, maybe do a load of laundry, like cleans parts of the house. Like, if things feel chaotic when you walk in, you're like, oh, dishes need to be done, I'm just gonna talk to you. You nurse the baby in the other room, and I'm just gonna do these dishes for you, or like make you a quick meal or something.
And I have to say, because I read your Feels Like Family blog post this past week, I loved it. It made me cry. It made me cry, because I was like, she's just so like in tune. She just gets it.
I love that.
But I like what you did when you were like, you know, I'm gonna wait for a little while and see if you know, the child stops crying, like feels better, and then recognizing, like, you know what, because the child's not having a good day, like she's obviously like upset about something, you know, the parents aren't gonna have a good time doing this, and like, I feel like in that way, when you were like, let's just reschedule for next week, like that was really helping them. Like,
100%. I would like not, I don't know, it almost makes me think like, who in their right mind would go through with a session, but I guess there's people that would.
I would. But that's just out of pure like naivete. Like, that's just because.
What is that word?
like
please explain.
being naive, like being naive. I think that's a word. I'm 99% positive
I love that.
naivete is a word.
Naivete.
But I may have just like pulled that out of my butt. Like I swear I thought it was a word. It was like
Naivete. I love it.
naivete.
Oh, I was saying bidet.
Yeah,
Bidet.
bidet. My naive bidet. No, but like I think I would have just because I would have felt like it would be unprofessional to be like, you know what, let's reschedule, because I think I would have thought, oh, they think that I don't want to deal
Oh yeah,
with them and their kid and stuff.
I can
when
just
really
tell
the
on
perspective is like
I can tell on their face they were
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. They're like, I mean, she was having
a really bad day.
Yeah, she was having
Terrible, no
melted.
good.
She burnt herself. Like, I mean, it wasn't like a severe burn, but you know, a kid freaks out.
Overstimulating enough.
Yes. Like she was doing the whole like contorting in the back thing. And like, I was only there for like maybe like 10, 15 minutes before I'm like, you know what, Lauren, like, I can make myself available again. Like,
yeah,
I do not want you guys to have to go through this just because I'm here. I guess, yeah, what happened was the girl had a meltdown. She burnt herself. And I just was like, yeah, let's schedule another day. Like, but you're paying all this money for photos.
Right.
Like, honestly,
have a good experience.
It was a great experience to just have some alone time driving the car by myself. If I have to go back home right now, it's not that big of a deal. Like, Freya was like maybe like 4 or 5 months at the time.
Oh, okay.
But so getting out of the house was actually
recent.
okay. No, this was from the fall / the fall.
But like, I see what you mean with like that perspective shift, and that like you won't understand it until you're in that position.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in that position. I would have been like, well, I don't want them to think I don't want to deal with them. When in reality, I'm like, I just want you guys to have a good time at your session, and you're obviously not going to.
Yeah.
If your child is upset and you're stressed about like catering to them, but they don't want to cooperate, you know, like I just never would have thought about that.
I think like I was always told, like, oh my gosh, if you're 5 minutes late, that's ticking on their time. You take that away from your client. You know what I mean? Like if your client is 5 minutes, 10 minutes late, like I would see people post on their stories or whatever, like photographers would be like, hey, if you're 10 minutes late, now for mini sessions, that's a little different. It's like, that will eat away your time. But if you're 10 minutes late for a session, like I think I would care more about that now. I would never like, or I would care more about that then, and just be a little bit more like, they're late. Oh, gosh.
I definitely, I get irritated. I know when they're late, but I do
now,
give them the full hour still.
I'm like, no problem. Like, I'll see you when you get here. I'll just wait in the car. Like, it's a little like chilly outside. Like, just get here safe. Like, my perspective on that has been, it's like the patience level has just kind of been like through the roof, because I'm like, who knows if they were struggling to get their kids' shoes on for 15 minutes before leaving, if they were crying before leaving the house, if they spilled something on their shirt before leaving. Like, I used to be punctual on time everywhere.
Having a kid kind of.
And now I'm like always 5 to 10 minutes late usually when I have her. And I'm like, gosh, this stinks. But it's true. It's just
you just can't help it.
You can't. You can't.
The way the wind blows. Yeah. A little more intimate, and obviously you can talk as much as you'd like about it or as little as you'd like about it, but I know that we've had our own discussions about it outside of here. Can we dive into your body image throughout pregnancy, and like postpartum, how that felt and things like that?
Definitely. So what's interesting is I feel like throughout high school and kind of like, you know, your prime, when you're supposed to be in your prime, which whatever the heck that means. But because I just feel like I keep getting there. I'm like in my prime right now.
Okay, good.
Like I feel great.
Like you are. Absolutely.
But when you're like in high school, I feel like a lot of times like you struggle with like insecurities, and sometimes those insecurities stem from outside sources. Like they wouldn't even have been there had you not been on the internet and saw like some girl that's
social media.
Yeah, complaining about something. You're like, oh, should I complain about that? So I feel like my insecurities stemmed from like just random things. They were never like to the point where they were like something to see a therapist about, just insecurities, body insecurities, things like that. And even up until getting married, like you're trying on wedding dresses and I'm just like, ooh, I don't know about
and
this
it's the
one.
Industry standard.
I see a dimple on my thigh or whatever. Like, I mean, and then I would say when I got pregnant, especially the second trimester, when the nausea started going away and I had like a bump, and even though I was gaining weight everywhere, stretch marks on the thighs, boobs, stretch marks, like everywhere. And I can honestly say I have never felt like more confident or more beautiful than like during that phase of pregnancy. Yes. And then the third trimester kind of got a little.
It kind of follows like the period phases.
Yeah,
a little bit there.
The third trimester was like wild. Like that was also just the swelling was out of this world.
Did it feel like your own body? Like
you started to feel like unrecognizable a little bit because it's like my lips just looked like they got like 30 injections, and I've never gotten lip injections, so I'm like, they're like bouncing as I'm talking. My nose is bigger, like everything, like facially, I'm like, Roman, I do not look like myself. And he's like, what do you mean? You look great. And I'm like, no,
be honest with me.
I
Tell me
literally
right now.
look like a dairy cow. And I feel like you feel tired. You're exhausted. You're just lugging around this new body, and it gets exhausting. And then after having her, oh my gosh, like again, felt on cloud nine, and continuously since having her. I mean, there's been a few little things where I'm like, ugh, these jeans don't fit like they used to, but truly, like I feel like pregnancy and going through that has made me care less about the physical body and more about like taking care of my body. And it's made me way more confident. Like even if I were, going through all these phases again in the next pregnancy, if I'm lucky enough to get pregnant again, like I feel like I just won't care. Like
really?
Yeah.
I feel like
which is so odd.
And maybe this is just like my own, like not ignorance, but like I know a lot of pregnant people. I just never really ask them about their bodies and stuff.
Yeah,
because,
like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, because I'm not just going to, like, out of the gate be like, so, like, how's your body image,
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
I feel like a lot of people give an opposite answer to that.
And that's true. Like, I think it's different for everybody because maybe they were super confident before pregnancy, and seeing their body a certain way so differently is, like, it's unrecognizable like the whole time. And then you don't feel like yourself. Like I know women who have gone through that too, and everyone's story is so different, but for me it was kind of like a breakthrough of like, oh my gosh, we're not here to just look at a pretty body, like look what my body is doing. And then seeing my daughter and like
cutest kid
so
ever,
freaking
oh my
cute.
gosh,
she's adorable.
I love her so much.
But seeing her too, I'm like, okay, like this ends right now. Like I cannot talk about myself negatively in front of her. I need to show her confidence. I need to show her just purity and love and passion for your body in like a confident way, because my mom was not that way, and that's also where my insecurity stemmed from. We're sponges when we're young. We are. And she would talk negatively about her body, and our bodies look the same. Like mine and hers are almost like identical body shapes. So growing up and seeing her talk negatively about her legs or something like that, to me, it was like, oh my gosh, I have her legs. She hates her legs. I have her legs. So I'm like, that is so hard to hear. And it's hard because it's like, I think my mom's beautiful. So I just want her to think she's beautiful. And it's hard to like, I mean, at this point, she's 50 something years old. And it's like, if she's still thinking about herself as a 20-year-old in the 90s, it's like that generation, they have a lot of things like that. So has this, like your body image and stuff, and going through pregnancy, prepartum and postpartum, has it helped you with your like maternity clients or family clients that are pregnant, like to relate to them?
Relate to them, and like also with like posing them and like reassuring them throughout the session and stuff. Like, do you feel like you approach it differently than you did before?
Definitely. I feel like I didn't have that many maternity clients before. Before I was pregnant, and then I think I just got excited about showing pregnancy, whether it be my own or just like talking about it more. And I definitely think like posing, but also just like how I talk to them. Like even like the bump, like I was just talking to my friend about this too, and like instead of referring to it as a bump, refer to it as like your baby. Feel your baby. If you know the name, say the name. Like little changes like that, it's actually like makes them more connected to the photo shoot. Because like before, I think I'd been like, touch your bump. Oh, like this.
I am like, touch your belly. Put your hands on your belly here.
I think if you're like talking to them and you're just like, just think about like the journey you've been on. Like as the session's going on, like lower your voice. Maybe be a little bit more like sultry with your voice, especially if it's more of an intimate type of maternity session. Like. And then, like, you can see that, like, smile resonate on their face just instantly when you, like, say the name of the baby or say baby. And you're like, and they're like, oh, baby. Like, it's just like,
this is a human life. Like,
like the words you use is important. I think, like, that has shifted how I approach the session, how patient and stuff. And also like if I find that they're referring to themselves negatively or like, oh, I'm just so over, like I
look like
horrible.
a dairy cow.
Yeah, like literally how I just was. But like I think there's that relatability where I can be like, oh girl, I know I got so swollen at the end too. What really helps is compression socks. Like I'm very like joking with my clients too. I'm very like, I'm a comedic
Lighthearted
relief when it comes to like hard situations. So to me, when I looked like a dairy cow, I was like kind of laughing about it, like trying to get through the pain a little bit. Maybe it's just a coping mechanism, but it helps me. Actually, like comedy and comedic relief does help me.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it helps minimize the negative
a
little bit and like kind of puts it into perspective, and that's how I explain it.
I mean, that's what comedians are for, right? Like they like talk about like funny situations that are stressful or annoying.
Bad, but
like airports, even like airports, like when you hear about the security line and how like different comedians have talked about like the security line in a comedic way, it's like hilarious, like rather than being like, this is the most stressful situation and I hate it.
It makes the bad thing seem smaller than you make it out to be. And that's why I can appreciate a good like dark humor or like just lighthearted.
Helps you get through life. I mean, life is difficult at times.
Okay, so now moving away from that, how do you balance having a photography business, or really, I mean, I think this can go for like any business owner, entrepreneur, having a business whilst being a new mother, being a new parent, just like having kids, like how do you balance that time?
It's hard. It's hard to balance, but you get the hang of it. And I would say 10 months in, it took that long before I was like, okay, this is the new normal. Like, this feels like I got a rhythm going. Like, it started changing at the 10-month mark. I thought it would change closer to like 6 months where I was like, I got the hang of this. Like, this makes sense. But nope, it took 10 months before. And I think the balancing parenthood with business stuff, like truly, I just had to be honest with myself and say, hey, I got to take a step back from business a little bit, because my top priority in life, and right now, the phase that I'm in, my top priority is to be a good mom and to take care of her, and also try to be a stay-at-home mom as much as possible, because I want to be the one that sees them every day, that goes through the hard moments and raises them essentially. And I've also developed such a love for what I do, because truly,
photography
for photography too, because I'm like, oh my gosh, if this was me in my design job, there'd be no way I can do this. Like, I would have to go back to work eventually. Like, Roman and I are comfortable with the 2 incomes, and to be completely honest, we make about the same. So that would be a huge cut in like what we would be living off of, and cost of living is
through the roof right now.
It's a lot, yes. And I do think there's things that we have that we don't need, but we have them. So there's things where we had to cut back on. Like, I mean, here's an example. TV subscriptions. Why do we need 3, 4, 5 of them?
Honey,
like, we do not
I'm right there
them.
with you. I've got the DVD player and the DVDs. I just canceled Disney Plus.
We don't need them. Let's get rid of them for now and just have what we're watching right now and delete the ones we're not using, because we're just paying monthly for something dumb that we don't need.
Or for, like, you know, one single show, one single movie that you just go back to.
And then you forget about it, and then, or I don't know, it's like, watch the show, be done, and then cancel it. Just like little things like that. Conscious about groceries. You just have to have discussions with your husband about like, okay, but I'm getting off topic here. I mean, balancing business and motherhood, it's like, it took me a while to figure out like a system, and truly it's like I needed to get through my busy season with editing, because once I got through that, I realized I'm not doing that again for a while. I had 25 of my own weddings last year while having a baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And I mean, it was wonderful.
But that's a lot.
And I loved all of my weddings, and I mean, oh my gosh, they're turned out amazing. But it was very hard at times, because editing all of that and not having the time to do that, unless I had a sitter or was working like past 7:30, and she had not been sleeping. She just recently started waking up only 1 time during the night. She had been waking up 4 times during the night. So I was sleep deprived, trying to work, trying to do all the things. So it was very challenging, but I think what got me through is just knowing what are my what are my goals here, and what do I want to be the best at right now, And for the next year coming up, I'm going to have to take on less because that's what I can manage and balance. This year of trial running things and thinking I could take on this full schedule, but it was already booked. Like all these weddings were already booked.
Right.
And you get excited about family sessions or things that come up, but you're going to have to say no to some opportunities, and that's okay.
Was there any negative emotions for you doing that? Like feeling I'm a failure for doing that, or like
I think
I should be able to, I don't know. Like,
I think there was like a lot of emotions going on of like, wait a second, I just spent the last like 5 to 6 years building up my business, and now I just have to kind of like
not tear it down,
but just like put it on, like not hold, but like I can't grow it anymore. I have to like keep it stagnant or even drop a little bit. Like just, I think seeing that was like a little bit like, oh, this stinks. Like I want to be doing this, but then I want to be doing this too. So you feel like you're pulled in 2 total different directions. But then I just realized, okay, well, I'm going to be taking on less. My time is more valuable. So I think it's important for photographers who want to be moms.
Yeah.
If you have a good clientele and you're busy, like you have a full schedule of sessions, it's time to raise your prices, first of all.
Yes.
And your time becomes more valuable because this upcoming year, I'm going to be making about the same amount that I made, but I'm probably taking a half of what I did before. That's just like what I'm predicted to do. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's important. I mean, your time is more valuable as a mom. Like you have to pay for childcare if you're leaving. Like you have to pay for a parent or somebody to come
and it's that
watch
added
your child.
Stress of figuring that out on top of you know dealing with your wedding clients or your family clients and like.
And my passions have gone other places too. Like we'll talk about we'll talk about Feels Like Family. We'll talk about that stuff too. But like passions have gone other places to help me like just build up another part of what I want to like grow, and the deeper meaning behind my photography too.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think something that I think about, I want to say almost on the daily basis, especially when I'm like, oh, I'm just so tired, or like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this, but I don't have the time or whatever, is what you said when you're like, we're actually all very, very, very selfish. But when you have a kid, you you realize that.
Yeah, did I write that or did I tell you that?
You told me that in person.
Yeah,
and you were like,
I will
having a kid makes you realize how selfish you are with your time and just with what you do.
Which is not, it's fine. Be as selfish as possible.
Not like a negative way.
Yeah, but you're self-focused.
Yeah.
You're very self-focused. You're self-driven. I mean, I was that way. It was like, how can I get higher and higher and higher?
Well, you don't have anybody to take care of, quote unquote, or raise and give your attention to.
Yeah.
So I think about that.
It's true.
Very, very often. And especially now with like family sessions and just families in general. I'm like.
And I wish I realized that though too, like how that phase of life like is very short in the grand scheme of things, because like people that are single, I want to just put this out there, that is such a blessing to be single and to have your schedule revolve around just you right now, or what you care about and what you want to do. You don't have a partner, a husband that you're relying on to also balance out, because marriage is also a give and take completely. You are becoming like, your decisions are each other's decisions. You have to give, you have to take. And that's why marriage can be difficult at times.
Because you can't be selfish.
Yes. I mean, it shouldn't be like gruelingly hard and difficult. But the difficult parts and components of marriage come when you have to be selfless. And then when you have a kid, you realize, oh my gosh, I had we were so selfish before, or we self-focused before. And now it's even more like it just, I don't want to say it was taken away, but
it's even less.
Yeah. Like
and it's recognizable. Like it's not just subtle. I feel like.
So take advantage of singleness. Like you are single right now for a reason. If that's the case, you're married and enjoying maybe not having kids right now for a reason. Because once you have kids, life does change. It picks up. It becomes beautiful in a different way.
Right.
And, you won't get that alone time back for a long time. I wish I would have like really, really realized that beforehand. Like I wish I would have soaked that in a little bit more and just been like, wow, this is like, we did do that, but it just like
kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
I take it for granted a little bit.
You do.
So I'm glad you said that to me, because now I feel like
just soak it all in.
I feel like
go on dates, walks with each other, just you two, which I'm sure you do. But or like the morning coffee together.
Yeah.
The morning coffee. Have breakfast together on a Sunday morning and be like slow with each other. Have your slow days. Like, this is the time to be slow in your life.
Because one day you're going to wake up and it's just going to be gone. I know. And I'm so sorry. The wind is
fine.
Open. The door is open, so the wind blows on it. Yeah. So I think about that all the time.
Well, that's good.
All the time.
Yeah, I hope
and
I
I'm
didn't
so
scare
glad
you, but
no, you didn't. It gave me a different perspective. That's why I love talking to people. I just feel like I get different perspectives and I can approach life a little bit differently and also be prepared for life a little bit better, a little bit differently.
Talk to older people, talk to generations above you too, because like talking to someone who's 80 is going to be so much more valuable. Like talking to someone who's 80 and still married. I mean, can we just give the 80-year-olds who are still married like a clap?
60 years of marriage, however many years.
Just talk to those people, because wow, they
know
seen
something.
a lot. They've been
they know something we
they're the
don't.
best marriage counselors there is. Let's be real, you know.
I agree. And I know you kind of talked about this in the beginning, but I kind of wanted to circle back on it and just kind of talk about how you felt becoming a mother. And again, we've talked about this kind of throughout this episode already, but like, how has being a mother and motherhood influenced the way you see and capture emotions in your work? And like, what moments of motherhood during those moments, like those family sessions, do you find yourself more drawn to capturing? Because it changed before pregnancy and now after.
I think my family photography has always been similar even before becoming a mom, but I think there's just more drive and more passion behind it now. And I ask more questions before the session. To me, it's like, what do you like about your kids? Like, what are some physical attributes that you love about them? Okay. Because for me, I'm looking at Freya, my daughter, and I just like see little things about her that I'm like, I just love that little freckle right by your lip. Like, I just love it. I just, and like, I love her eyes. I mean, there's so many like little parts about her physically that you can capture in a photograph that I think you should ask your clients. Like, do you love your son's curly hair? Because I am going to take so many pictures of like enhancing that curly hair, or position him in a way that shows off the curly hair of him, or what do you like? What do you do? Like, how do you calm your children? Like, and then sometimes the mom, you know, is like laying with the child, like laying on her lap and brushing through her hair or braiding her hair or something like that. And it's like, those are all things I think you need to ask beforehand to try to get more of an idea of what the parent-child personality is like. Maybe they're a really goofy family and they're just like wild, or maybe they're super just like sensitive and reserved. Reserved. They're quieter and they act on like very emotions and physical touch. Like, maybe some families are very physical and others are not at all. So you have to ask those things so you can prepare yourself and also give them what they deserve and what they want, because you want to represent their family in a way that's honest and true and not just like forced because you think the mom has great hair and you want to make this session
all
look
about
good.
her hair.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to ask those questions about like what they enjoy. And so I think becoming a mom, I've just really let the chaos happen too, and just like really just try to enjoy myself when I walk in the room. Sometimes we sit down, have a cup of coffee, talk a little bit, and then we get started with the session. It's not so much like
interesting.
Yeah, it's not so quick anymore. Like, I had this one maternity session and they also booked me for their newborn. Loved this family. They were just in Chicago. It was wonderful. And I walked in, it was so casual, and they kind of changed my perspective on it, where I'm like, it doesn't need to be so like clock in, clock out type of work. Yeah. It can be very intentional. I mean, they're paying for a service, and especially if you're charging more of a premium, more of a luxury for that family package, like upwards of $600 or $900 for a family session, like, they deserve your focus and your intention behind it, rather than just feeling like it's so transactional. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's actually really cool. I've never heard.
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. I've been making that change in probably the last year, where I'm just very.
Are they aware that you're going to do that going into it, or do you just kind of show up?
I think we talk a lot beforehand. Like, typically they fill out like a questionnaire. we talk about what their session's going to be like. And especially if it's like a newborn or younger kids, I'm like, you know what, like, we'll just give me like 10 minutes to walk around the house, like get acquainted, and like, you know, put on a pot of coffee. Like, we'll enjoy a cup of coffee if you want. If that's kind of more what you guys do too, like, have your cup of coffee in the session, like, or walk around the house, make a banana bread or that morning or something to get them interactive. And it also gets the kids interacting with it too, because if mom's always making banana bread on Sundays, that gets them excited then too, to be like, I want the banana bread. Like, they get excited about it, and it shows their true personalities and their true,
much more authentic and intimate, I would say too.
So I always ask them, like, what are some things you guys do, like, to like, do you like to cook? And, you know, if they're really big into cooking, we have big breakfasts on Sundays. Okay, let me come over on, if it's not a Sunday, like, if it's and I only shoot typically on like Mondays and Thursdays. For like family sessions that aren't weddings, obviously. Your ring is beautiful, by the way. I just got a little
thank you.
A glimmer of it.
Benjamin cleaned it last week.
Oh, it's very shiny and beautiful. I love the shape of it. It's beautiful.
I love the halo.
Like, the detail around it is really nice.
Oh yeah, it's like a little it's a little twist,
I love
twist with some diamonds or whatever.
It's beautiful. Like, is that what that, like, I don't know what that is.
The halo.
I like that, the halo.
Yeah,
very beautiful. You don't see that very often. Girls kind of just want a big rock right now.
Oh, that's, and like, I kind of do too. But but then I love. I mean,
that's a good size.
We always joke that he's gonna get me another ring, but gold.
What?
With like a totally different diamond, but like just so that I can wear it with like my jewelry, so I can match it to my jewelry. Not because I don't love it. It's beautiful. I love this ring, babe. I need water. Why do I have such dry mouth? Oh my gosh. Because it's probably 1,000 degrees in here because I don't have the AC
it's not.
on.
I'm just talking a lot.
I'm sorry.
Is this bad?
No.
Okay. No. I just feel like I'm talking a lot. I hope I'm like giving you time.
No.
I don't even know what I was talking about other than just
the family,
taking it
like
slow.
Yeah, being more intentional at the time.
And I'm doing a lot more in-home family sessions.
I love in-home family sessions.
I'm surprised actually. Like, I think I started promoting it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
I think it's become more popular too.
Yeah, which I think love that. I'm so happy people are doing that.
I really enjoy in-home family. I did one in December. She was pregnant and she already had a son. And we just like, I was like, okay, like it was December 22nd or 23rd or something. So it was right before Christmas. And I was like, let's, make some cookies and decorate your tree and so just cute. Like run around and have some fun.
I love that.
And then I was like, you know what? Like I've met her son before because I did their family photos, I think the year before or earlier that year in like January.
Okay. So you do family photos?
I do. I just don't post them.
Okay, got it.
And you know what? We can talk about that
we'll
too.
Talk about that. I'm curious to talk to you more about that.
But I was like, I'm gonna stop by Target and I'm gonna get them Christmas presents. So I got him like a little Lego set. I got the dad like a coffee grinder and like a little bag of coffee because I was like, I feel like men love coffee. And I feel like I didn't know what they had or anything, but I mean, if you have a pot and you just have your own coffee grounds, you can just
so cute. And
then I think I got the mom. I think I got her like a necklace and something else. But I figured she could probably also enjoy the coffee.
That's so sweet.
And because I was like, I'm gonna show up there, and I know he was a little shy at first when I first met him about getting his photos taken, and like I want the kids to have like a good experience and to like feel comfortable with me. So I was like, what better way to make a kid like you than
100%. That's why I did the croissants.
Presents.
Like in that post that I sent, I brought them the next time because I wanted her to like associate it with, it's not just that lady again when I was crying. Yeah. It's like, she's got chocolate croissants. I love chocolate croissants.
Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh.
And then they're more willing to perform in front of the camera, or it's just like it starts them off on the right foot.
Totally.
But we did it all at home, and then we did some like editorial stuff because she was pregnant, and
you have to show me after.
I'm like queuing up all the posts.
Love it.
It's so stressful trying to figure out what to post, but I do.
You do?
I do. I do love doing family photo shoots and like family photography and stuff. I am really uncomfortable posting children.
I know you're.
So I try throughout the session. I'm very aware and intentional of like getting shots that are without showing the kid's face, so either like turned around or like hand holding and stuff like that, because then I can still post it.
Right.
But I'm not, jeopardizing an identity or privacy or anything like that.
That's a really good point.
I do ask. I also, and most of my clients are like, yeah, like you're fine, you can post them. And I've had 2 or 3 that are like, no, like we'd appreciate if like we didn't show our kids' faces. And I respect that. And like, even if they tell me that I can, I mean, it's pretty rare
Okay.
when I do. Like that December family, I've already posted her son and the two of them. So I was like, okay, I'm okay with posting it again because he's already on my feed. But it was a gamble. I go back and forth about it. Do you think about that when you're...
I do think about that. And I think, there's so much going around with just
AI.
Well, AI is one thing
dark
where
web.
that there's like just documentaries with like family vlogging that I think is like awful.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Scary time to be alive.
I think I think it's just like the intentionality behind what you post. Like you said, pictures of the kids behind or running. The thing is, the difficult part is that first of all, yes, I get approval by all these people.
Yeah.
To like post the images from their family session. It's in the contract. It specifies like I can use them for marketing, advertising, things like that, things on my website, because I still see that there's value in showing people what they're getting and
absolutely
what that service looks like. And I find inspiration from so many other photographers from family sessions too, from seeing what they've posted and like the different, I don't even want to say poses, but just like concepts that they've put together. So it's a topic that I definitely think about since talking with you about it, because I'm like, this is so difficult because, I mean, for my daughter, I do show her. I try not to be... I love
when you do, selfishly. I love seeing little Freya on your stories.
But I am careful about oversharing, and I really, like, I think for, like, in her birth post or whatever, when I shared that I had a baby, like, I didn't want to just, like, share her ounces and weight and her full name. I took down, like, what her name was, even though it's Freya. I don't know. Just so it doesn't matter.
I get it.
But I think I'm also not the type of mom that posting every month of their child, like with their weight, with their height. And like, to me, that's a little scary. It's like little updates of my family every now and then. Like we're going to London and Ireland. Yes! We have a photo shoot in Ireland. I'm totally sharing those pictures. I'm so excited
for you.
Yes. So I think it's being mindful with what you share and just not oversharing. And I wonder too, like in the beginning when you're so excited as a new mom and you're like, my baby's just
the cutest baby
the cutest
in the world.
Ever, because everyone's so biased and they think their babies are the cutest ever.
And their babies are the cutest ever.
It's just, it's hard not to want to share, but I don't really post to Facebook. And I post more on my personal Instagram, but actually, like, looking back, it's like very few, and I never specify her age really either when I post. I don't know.
I've found myself
I'll tell you about a crazy incident in a second.
Ever for like the past year and a half, I've been like, I purge my followers and following and like on every single like except TikTok, because I'm like, should I have a kid? Like the people that I still debate if I'm even gonna post that I like their faces ever, their names.
I don't think my friend is.
Well then I mean I have family members that'll probably do it.
Yeah, Roman's mom definitely will share. Like she shared the face, but I mean, my parents don't have a Facebook, so I've never had to worry about my parents because they don't have anything.
I'm very social media-ly active.
So to me, it's
family.
like I kind of set the example. Yeah, and like I might share her hands or like something she's doing and just not overshare. And I think that also sends a message. So whatever you're doing as the mom, I think sends the message like to other people of maybe I shouldn't post about their child all the time because that's a little weird if she's not. If she's not sharing she had a birthday, why should I post that? Yeah. My granddaughter had a birthday or whatever.
So I'm just like, I'm very aware of it. And like when I do family sessions, I offer like I can send you galleries that I've done, so that they can see it. Oh, yeah. You too. Well, like I'm like, if you guys want to see more galleries, because I know I don't advertise it very much or very well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's why I like Substack, which is the social media. People probably don't know it, but creators are kind of popping on it now. And so I'm like, I want to get on here early because I like this and I need to keep up with it. So then like, because it's words, it's language. It's not so much picture driven. And so to me, being able to maybe share what photography is or what family is more specifically, like with that platform and not oversharing pictures,
is nice.
I think that's nice because it still gets people like excited, and you're telling a story. Like, I mean, when you're reading a book, you can paint a story in your mind of like what something looks like.
I was sucked into
I'm
last
glad.
week's.
I'm so glad.
I was like emotionally sucked. I was like, oh my God, Leah, the woman you are. I was like, the woman you are for knowing what to do and just being so good at everything. I'm going to ask you about feels like family, but tell me that story first, the crazy one.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this has changed. I mean, it didn't change my perspective on like showing your kids online, but it changed my perspective on oversharing, and it kind of got me scared about it. And also when I post people's children, like when I've gotten approval in their family sessions that I'm really proud of that I want to share, I also try to limit, like I don't tag the location anymore. Like where I used to tag like, if it's Chicago or in the suburbs, maybe I'll put Chicago, but I won't put like Lombard or Naperville, really, unless it's like a field somewhere. But if it's where their home is, I try to avoid posting their suburb. Maybe I'll put a suburb like the next one over to them. Yeah, so it's not like so specific. And I try to keep it pretty like general with not really talking about too in depth of the kids' names and the ages. Like I think I try to like do that and just be mindful of like the information I'm putting out there. And really I only post about each family session maybe once. Yeah. Like if I get to even share all of the sessions that I've done for family sessions. But going back to that crazy story is I was in Aldi one Aldi stand.
I was
love
just there
Aldi.
today. I just did my grocery shopping this morning at Aldi.
Just the best deals you can ever
10 out of
find.
10. Yeah.
Seriously. So I was at Aldi and it was like near my parents' house. So it wasn't like the Aldi by our house, but new location. Haven't really been there in a while since I've been married. And I'm like walking through the store and I see this child in the cart and I'm like, I know that child. Like, how do I know that child? And then like the dad turns around, I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to high school with that guy. And I know that family because I've seen them post that child online several times on Facebook. Like, and he was only maybe like 9, 10, maybe like 11 months. It's hard to tell. Yeah. But like at the time, I think he was
semi-fresh,
like Freya's, Freya's age about right now, like maybe just approaching 1. And I'm like, I've never met this child. Yeah. I didn't even know his name right off the bat, but I was just like, I know that kid. Yeah. And that was so weird to me because I'm like, I've never met, I just got chills because like that feeling was so weird where I'm like, how did I know that face? But I've never met them face to face. Like, how weird would it be if I'm like, hi, Samuel? Like, that was not his name. But hi, Samuel. I know his name now, but I'm like.
And like, maybe like, what if the dad hadn't recognized you or anything? Yeah. You know?
Exactly.
That is why
so that's just a friend from from high school that I don't even talk to anymore. And I'm just like, that was weird. Cause
I know a lot about your life. I know the most important part of your life. And I don't even talk to you.
I didn't like that feeling. So I was like, okay. We're going to be mindful. We're going to purge through who follows me on Facebook. No more creepy guys from high school or girls or whatever that I don't talk to. And I've had like people request to follow me again from high school. I decline it. I do too. Cause I'm like, if I haven't talked to you in like 10, 15 years.
Like, if I haven't talked to you in the past like 12 months, in the past year.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Cut.
You know, not like, you know, respectfully. It's not even like, oh, I have a problem with you.
Why do you want to follow my personal page? Like, I have like a public page.
Yeah, I think about that too. I'm like, if you want to follow me, follow my photography page.
Yeah, I barely post anymore on my personal.
It's nothing against anybody ever. It's just like
no, it's against them.
Oh, I'm dead. Not for me. For me, I'm like, if I
for me, I'm like.
I'm thinking of my future kids. That's the only reason I do that. Because I'm like, you guys, like, you know, you just don't know. You really don't know.
No. You don't.
And it's just, I've started to value my privacy more, even though I'm just posting everything everywhere all the time.
But you're specific or like you're intentional with what you decide to put out there. If it's like
sometimes, depending on the time of the month, I'm intentional with what I put out there. But I guess, I don't, it's not super personal. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I am a little more vulnerable, but like I can imagine when I have kids, it probably
and you know what, sometimes I do think sharing like the good parts of family is nice to see, and like how it can be done, like in showing like you know the backs of the kids rather than like their face is just smiling at the camera with like their grade number in front of them and smiling, like what you normally associate Facebook or like moms that are like in their 40s right now, what they're posting.
Yeah.
It's like, I think showing a different artistic way about it is kind of nice, because then it sets the tone where you could share, maybe you want to share your kids a little bit online, or share, because it's such a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is what I do every day. Like, and
it's your
like,
identity.
It becomes your identity. So like, if you show it in a way that is a little bit more artistic and maybe just not as like, right there, they're 8 years old and their name is Megan. And I don't know.
I'm all,
they're born this day and they're this many months old and they're this many inches. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. I'm very aware of it. And I've been very aware of it for like,
that's
2 or more years now. And so I'm just formulating.
But you do what's comfortable with you.
I know I want like a pregnancy announcement video, and I have every single scene like mapped out and how I'm going to put, you know what I mean? Like, I love the drama of everything too, but also, no,
I'm sorry, but you spun that out. I'm like, she's thinking about pregnancy.
Oh, I was thinking about it at church like last year. I was just sitting listening to the sermon, and I was like, oh, this would be a great pregnancy announcement video idea. And I literally wrote it down and drew out each scene. And Benjamin was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm not paying attention.
That is
but I'm planning for something important. So,
that's funny.
But yeah, so that was like a whole rabbit hole of just, I'm not against posting children. I'm just very picky.
That's fine. I mean,
very aware.
That's good. That's good to be aware. I feel like just have some sort of awareness rather than just thinking it's okay to just be like,
This is little Cindy Lou Who.
Exactly.
She lives here.
Yeah.
You can hit her up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But okay. Away from that. Tell me about Feels Like Family. I love Feels Like Family. What is it? Why did you start it?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Feels like family.
I love Feels Like Family.
I love it too. It's kind of just, it's been something where I can pour more of like the family topic into, and also like get a collection of other photographers who are also mothers. That's kind of what it stemmed as, is like, I wanted to have a community. I saw the value in all of the girls that stepped up while I was on my maternity leave. And the photography community I've gained in our area, like with you, with friends like Megan, Yvonne, Birgit, there's different girls in Chicago that I'm close with. I'm like, if I didn't have these girls, like, they have made me a different person. Like, they have made me better at what I do, more confident in what I've done and what I do. And I'm like, now I feel like there's got to be moms out there who do this job too. And so it kind of started as a way to like, find other family photographers, but then it kind of morphed into like, this is really cool for moms who are also photographers, whether they're wedding photographers or a lot of them have transitioned to maybe more family if they're moms, because again, they want to photograph what they're passionate about. Yeah, so I think it's been about connection with other mothers in the industry that can kind of like relate to what you're going through and are artistic people and want to still work.
Yeah.
And what a blessing that photography is for working mothers, and how it's allowed me so much flexibility to like still make an income while doing something I love. Like, I truly don't think about it as work as much. Feels Like Family is for modern mothers. It's for the soulful photographer to be a part of, and it's just a collection of like just honoring like your, I don't even know what I want to say, just
motherhood, womanhood,
womanhood, vulnerability, like showing up and sharing what you've been through, more as like a woman, and like just how your days have gone with like kids, or different things you can relate to. And so every quarter I come out with a monthly journal, which the spring one is going to be launching before I leave for this trip. It better be.
I'm excited.
So I think it'll be launching on Wednesday. And so that is like a collection of photographs that people submit in there. They can submit poetry. It doesn't just need to be photographs. Poetry, stories, recipes, just relatable content for people to absorb, rather than just like, what the frick is reels. And I'm not even on TikTok, but I can imagine like just the brain numbing stuff that people,
I partake in that.
I'm so like not into that. And so I'm like, okay, if we're making content, let's make it valuable. And I just think it's like a platform where people can find other women that are going through the same thing. It's also going to be a resource in the future for like courses, maybe selling courses and building up that persona. But I didn't want to just market that to my audience now on my Leah Starkey photo account.
Yeah.
I wanted to rather separate the two and be like, hey, this is for people that I can like market to in a different way, but also like build a community with. And then my photo account is for clients. I didn't want to just like flip the switch. And also,
but do you share that with your clients, like that you like they can sign up and get?
Oh, they can sign up because it's for moms too, just to be a part of. And you know what, there's actually like someone we're highlighting in the spring journal. And I think I told you about this, she like helps moms kind of like learn how to kind of work a camera, learn how to photograph their kids, so then they can do that themselves. I'm
excited to hear about that.
So little things like that. There's like a little spotlight about what she does, and it's about community. It's about building up women and building up motherhood and making it not as hard, and just, you know, trying to be there for each other.
They're incredible. They're not. Hold on. I was gonna say they're incredibly long, and I was like, they're very long, but they're so intentional, and I love flipping through the magazine.
Oh, the magazine.
Your magazine, the issues that you release. I love flipping through them, and I love, as someone who's not a mom, reading that and like looking through all of those photos and the recipes and the poems and the spotlights and stuff. Like it's just it's beautiful to me, and I love, it gives me different perspectives, and like I've said probably multiple times throughout this episode, like I love gaining new perspectives. And especially ones that like I know I'm going to grow into eventually. It's so great, and you're such a good writer.
Oh,
too.
Thank you.
Like,
I
that
really
SubStack?
enjoy it. And you know what's a hack? I do the voice memo a lot in the car.
Yeah.
And like the car, I swear,
You're so me.
I have so many ideas in the car.
Yeah.
Not so much in the shower, because like, I mean, showers are
too
quick
busy.
now. They're
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
And but in the car, like on the way here, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, I'm freakish. But if I voice memo it, or better, go in your notes and it'll type it out for you when you hit the voice record. That's how I literally write the journal.
I love that. I do that too.
Because like, I mean, it makes so much more sense. Like I can't just sit down and be like, what am I typing about today? If I have a thought,
It's hard to sit and focus like that. I literally last night I couldn't sleep because I was just so many thoughts. I was like, Benjamin, can you just hand me a notebook and a pen?
Yeah.
Handed me a notebook and a pen. I wrote everything down, and I have it. I'm like, okay, this is what I got to do this next week. But like the car thoughts are real.
Yeah. And I have so many. I'm like, okay, I got to like share some of these thoughts. And like Substack it's a social media platform that I know it's been around for a while. I actually used to have one, but
I've actually never heard of it until someone mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're the first person I've heard it from.
If you've heard of Patreon before, have you heard of that? It's kind of similar. Oh, I don't know how similar it is, but there is an option to like do a paid subscription eventually. And then I think those people who do the paid subscription will get exclusive content.
Have you started that yet?
I have not. Okay. So I'm just building up the free content, getting people excited. And then I think eventually, like, paid Megan, when we relaunched the podcast, like unedited versions of a podcast, or maybe more voice memos, or like maybe the journal, but even more in depth, like more stories, or like short stories or whatever, just like things that
fill your cup creatively, but also
like the free stuff is still just as meaningful, or will be, but I think like the paid subscription will have a little bit more of like
meat.
Yeah, just more meat.
A little more to digest.
Yeah, and if people are interested in that and they want to invest their time and you know,
financials,
into that, then that's great. And then that will help build up the platform even more, and maybe we can do like printed versions of the journal, and we can like
that'd be so cool. I would love to see that.
So yeah, I mean, I hope I answered what feels like family is, but it's going to be evolving too. But right now I think it's at a good place where I'm like, oh, I realize that I just don't want to just showcase pictures and also just build up my platform. Like, this is about building up other people's platform, maybe showcasing like other photographers and sharing what courses they have available. And having that opportunity to be a part of the journal. Like, hey, I don't have any courses right now, but so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so all have courses. And you can go check them out and support them in that way, because it's a community of mostly photographers, but I do want to dip into like just moms can be a part of it to get
Yeah.
ideas for recipes or movies or,
Yeah, I
things.
mean, I'm nowhere near a mom, but like I love looking at the
That's
recipes
great.
and I love seeing what's
And the
in your
recipes I
journal
like
and-
actually like some of them are from cookbooks that like I've made a bunch of times, or they're actually things that I just like wrote again, voice memoed or
Yeah.
whatever into my notes. And as I'm making it, like, okay, that was about a cup of sugar.
Yeah.
Like just little things, and I'm like, oh,
So
that's a
helpful.
recipe, great, because I love to cook. So
Yeah, you're really good at cooking. We had a Friendsgiving.
yeah,
A Friendsgiving, and you made this
That
like
was wonderful.
this potato
the
dish.
German potato salad.
Yeah, it was so good. I think about that
good.
potato salad
Really?
a lot.
So that was my first time making it, and
was
that's
really good.
That's like a family. We have that on holidays.
I loved it. That was invite me
so
over next
glad.
year because or this
Perfect.
year because
Perfect.
I would eat that again.
Oh, okay,
100%.
good. It's so easy. It's so easy, and it
I'm
didn't
not
give
a
you
good
tummy
cook.
troubles.
No, it didn't. It didn't give me, and that's why I loved it so much because I was like,
That's good.
Oh, I'm
because it's
not
kind of
keeled
hearty
over
because
in
it has like
pain.
the bacon and like,
yeah,
but it's warm. It's not like a cold like summer day potato salad. It's like
Yeah.
a hearty potato salad.
yeah.
That is, yeah.
You have to
really good.
publish that recipe. Did you publish that
No, I
recipe?
should.
You need to publish because I'd like to just
For the
make
fall.
it
For
myself.
the fall, maybe I'll do that. That's
be
a good
honest.
fall, winter. I should have done it for winter, but that's a good recipe.
okay.
Okay. Love
But
that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this going to be a 2-part episode? I think it needs to be.
No. I think we're good. We're good. Okay. So to wrap up, what goals do you have for life and in business in the next 5 years? What do you hope to be doing by then?
Okay.
What do you got planned this
Well,
upcoming year?
I'm going to continue my journey with Feels Like Family, and I really want to build up like the blog posts. I want to share more about that and kind of see where that takes me. Because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about family photography. I'm passionate about motherhood, and I just feel like it's the perfect bridge between the two without being too forced either. So I just want to see where that community goes and who kind of stands behind that and where it goes. And for photography, I mean, I was just telling my husband, I'm like, for a while was kind of like, what am I doing? Do I need to be doing something else? Like, do I need to do, this sounds so crazy. Do I need to be doing like an at-home daycare just so I can be home with Freya? Like, do I need to invite other kids? Like, do I need to stop this entirely?
Oh, yeah.
And I just had all these thoughts of like, what else can I do? And I'm like,
to be home
nothing.
more.
Yeah, but I'm like, what the heck? Why am I complaining? Get off your butt and stop complaining. Like, this is the best job ever right now for being a mom. Like, it's so flexible. I mean, yeah, there's other jobs that probably can be even more flexible, but I'm like,
You make your own
stop
schedule.
complaining, Leah. Like, you make your schedule. You can work when you want. You could take on as much work as you want, and you can create whatever pricing you want and whatever packages you want. I'm like, why am I complaining? So it's going to be less complaining, and it's going to be just more like
Creating.
yeah, like more creating and working with a lot of great families and wedding clients and building that relationship too. And I'm just going to keep on keeping on and keep,
Are you going to go for a second?
baby? Of course.
Oh, yeah? Within the next
Yeah.
5 years, you think?
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yes.
that's going to be so fun.
So
Oh my
I guess
gosh.
planning that out a little bit better too. Like one of the courses, actually another thing that started Feels Like Family is I was like, I want to make a maternity leave course.
Very smart.
Yes, I wanted to do that.
Very
And then I
helpful.
realized I don't know anything about maternity leave. I'm a girl that's pregnant trying to make a maternity leave course, and I don't know what the heck.
Well, now that
happening?
you've got the experience.
Well, yeah, I'm like, okay, there's things that I did right, like, different emails that I sent out that were great emails to maybe share with other moms that are like, what the heck do I write to this bride?
Yeah.
So there's emails that I've like saved that I'm like, these are good to send to them, and like creating email templates for different photographers or whatever, going through that. But I'm like, I need to dig deeper. I need to see how this next one goes to really get a good mold of like what a maternity leave
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
will look like, and like what's the best way to approach that. How much money should you set aside? How much should you do this and that? Because I mean,
Well, you can't really when it's
No.
unplanned for the like.
No, but I think there's certain strategies with your pricing that you might need to increase, because what had happened, sorry, again, tangent. What had happened was just like, by the time it got to it, like, and I had to pay my associate second shooters, I was left with like, what, $200 from certain
Yeah.
weddings. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now I have all this editing. I need to order their box. I need to do all these things. And I'm like, okay, nice. I need to plan this out better.
Awesome. Where can everybody find you? Where can they find Feels Like Family?
Yeah.
Photography.
Well, everything you can find on leahstarkey.com. And then for Instagram, you can find me at Leah Starkey Photo, and then at feels__like family on Instagram. And then Substack, you can just type in Leah Starkey and find me there. But everything's on my website. Yeah, that's kind of the gist.
Well, it was so great having you. Thank you for chatting with me and for being vulnerable.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully this helps anyone else that maybe is pregnant or just going through the same things that you were going
And I still
through.
have a lot to learn about that. I'm a new mummy.
We all have a lot to learn about everything. So
Please share it with me when you find out certain
any
things, too.
answers.
Yeah.
Any answers, send them
I'd
her
love
way.
to hear your stories.
But thank you so much. And
Thanks for being here, Valerie. I love you.
appreciate it. I love you.
You're the best.
Thank you guys for listening. I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.